With recent massive price cuts, the Ryzen 7800X3D, it's now the best value high-end gaming CPU of 2025. But what's the best graphics card, motherboard, RAM, and cooler to complete your build? Welcome back to PC Builder, I'm Jason. This 2025 Ryzen 7800X3D PC build guide is going to cover everything that you need for the best Ryzen 7800X3D build, including the best graphics card for the Ryzen 7800X3D, best RAM for Ryzen 7800X3D, best motherboard for Ryzen 7800X3D, best cooler for the Ryzen 7800X3D, and more. And we'll give you specific build templates for both a maximum value Ryzen 7800X3D build and a premium Ryzen 7800X3D gaming PC build. If you get value out of this video, please give a like, it makes a huge difference to the channel. Of course, subscribe for more cool PC content. Let's jump into it. This video is sponsored by porkbun.com, named the #1 domain registrar by USA Today 3 years running. Still using GoDaddy? Switch to Porkbun and grab your next .app or .dev domain for just $5.99 for the first year. Perfect for tech pros and developers, these domains, powered by Google Registry, are ideal for showcasing your projects, SaaS apps, or digital portfolios. Plus, Porkbun domains come with built-in HTTPS security, SSL certificates, WHOIS privacy, and URL forwarding, all included free. Switch to Porkbun for transparent pricing, no hidden fees, and award-winning customer support. Grab your domain now for just $5.99 at porkbun.com/PCBuilder25, linked in the video description. So what's the best graphics card for the Ryzen 7800X3D in 2025? Well, typically, we get the most FPS in a gaming PC build by buying the fastest graphics card we can afford than just getting a CPU that won't bottleneck it. But as we get to the higher end of GPU performance, the CPU, it really does start to matter, especially in CPU-intensive titles or competitive titles like Marvel Rivals, where lowered settings are used to maximize frame rates, and of course, even lowered resolutions. Now, currently the Ryzen 7800X3D is selling for $340 US. That is a huge price cut from the $450 price earlier this year. I'll leave retail links in the video description so you can check current pricing and availability in your region. Meanwhile, the slightly faster Ryzen 9800X3D, it's about $480, and good but slower mid-range CPUs like the Ryzen 7600X and 9600X are about $170. That makes the Ryzen 7800X3D the sweet spot for upper mid-range graphics cards, and I would start to consider this CPU over the slower Ryzen CPUs with an RTX 5070 or RX 9070 GPU as a minimum. I'd definitely be considering it for the RTX 5070 Ti or RX 9070 XT graphics card, especially given the large price difference to jump up to the RTX 5080, which currently is selling above $1,300 US. Now, if you're buying an RTX 5080, then I think the 7800X3D is the minimum CPU I'd look to if you can't quite stretch to the 9800X3D. And while we could consider this CPU with the RTX 5090, which is currently retailing for $2,500 US or more, I think spending the extra money and getting the 9800X3D in that scenario, that's the right play. Now, we went with the RTX 5070 Ti Gigabyte Gaming OC model that Gigabyte sent over to us, which is one of the beefier RTX 5070 Ti models for cooling and one of the more aggressively overclocked RTX 5070 Ti models, so big thank you to Gigabyte. So what's the best RAM for the Ryzen 7800X3D? Well, RAM speeds for Ryzen 7000 and 9000 series CPUs, they're pretty set in stone right now. But if you need a refresher, check out our Best RAM for Gaming 2025 video. We cover everything there from the basics on up. Now, we want a 2-stick kit of DDR5 6000 CL30 RAM. We never ever exceed more than 2 sticks because the current generation of DDR5 memory controllers, they just can't handle 4 sticks at the speeds that we want, and you're gonna end up with a lot of system crashes. We want 6000 speed specifically because going either faster than that or slower than that, it loses performance. And we want our cache latency to be at CL30 or lower to get the tightest timings possible. Though there are some CL28 and CL26 kits out there. I have tested them with Ryzen X3D CPUs. You just don't see much benefit at all with an X3D CPU for those kits, so it's the last place that I would look to spend money to try and increase performance. And don't forget to turn on Expo or XMP one-click auto overclocking profile in the BIOS to get your full rated speed on your RAM. In terms of the amount of RAM, I strongly recommend a 2x16GB kit, so that's 32 gigabytes total. This is plenty for gaming and even many professional tasks like video editing. I do not recommend overspending to get 64 gigabytes or more of RAM unless you have a very specific application that you know absolutely requires it. Because honestly, that money could be better spent on performance items like jumping up to a Ryzen 9800X3D, getting a better GPU, better cooler, more SSD storage, and so forth. Now, great 32GB DDR5 6000CL30 kits, they start for as little as about $80 to $90 without RGB, like the Patriot Viper Venom kits with a metal finish, or kits by Silicon Power and Team Group in white or black. RGB kits start around $100, with kits like my favorite Team Group T-Force Delta kit that we used in our build in white. Similarly priced kits in black or white are available, like the Silicon Power Zenith, the G-Skill Ripjaws M5, and Trident Neo kits, or you can pick up G-Skill's low-profile non-RGB kits with something like the Flare series. And there are tons of other kits from Corsair, Kingston Fury, and others. I'll leave some listed down in the video description for you to check out. I'll also leave some DDR5 6000CL28 kits and DDR5 6000CL26 kits as well. So what's the best motherboard for the Ryzen 7800X3D in 2025? Well, the good news is the 7800X3D, it will work on any AM5 motherboard and most should boot without a BIOS update. But I do recommend updating to the latest non-beta BIOS. And our PC setup guide is going to walk you through how to do that. It's linked down in the video description under our How to Build a PC playlist. Now, quick heads up on ASRock motherboards. They were linked to higher than normal Ryzen 7800X3D failures. Now, while the 7800X3D has not shown that issue, ASRock says that BIOS versions 3.25 or 3.26 or later fixes it. Now, reports of failures have dropped, but if you're uneasy, go with an MSI, Gigabyte, or Asus motherboard instead. So what chipset should you get? Well, AMD's naming, it's a mess. A620, B650, B840, B850, X870 with random E versions tossed in. Here's your shortcut. Skip A620 and B840 motherboards. They just don't include AMD's auto overclocking utility called Precision Boost Overdrive, which we want to enable in the BIOS to get the maximum performance. Focus instead on B650, B650E, and B850. These offer great value for gamers without paying for creator features on X series motherboards that you just don't need. In 2025, motherboards with PCIe Gen 5 GPU slots are now equally priced, so my advice, just grab that feature for free. All B650E and most B850 motherboards, along with all the X series motherboards, have it. Still, Gen 4 only GPU slot B650 motherboards, they're totally fine if pricing in your region is really tough. Of course, we got a great video, Best Ryzen Motherboards 2025. Check that out for more recommendations. But right now, here are my top picks for the best motherboards for the Ryzen 7800X3D. Jumping into mid-range micro ATX motherboards, I really like the ASRock B850M Pro-A Wi-Fi. It's about $140. It only seems to be available at Newegg in the US for some reason, but it has great Mac Black styling, 3 full bandwidth M.2 SSD slots, 4 high-speed USB ports, including a Type-C, and 4 USB 2.0 ports with Wi-Fi 6E. The Gigabyte B850M Gaming X Wi-Fi, another good pick at $159 with stronger VRMs, 2 M.2 SSD slots, 4 high-speed USB ports including a Type-C, and 4 more USB 2.0 ports, and a built-in rear I/O shield, Wi-Fi 6E, and even better styling. Moving over to mid-range ATX size motherboards, my top picks include the ASRock B850 Pro-A. It's got very solid VRMs, 4 M.2 NVMe SSD slots, the Winam's only PCIe Gen 3, 6 high-speed USB ports with 2 Type-Cs, and 6 more USB 2.0 ports, tons of connectivity, along with great black styling for $140 and a Wi-Fi version for $20 more. I also really like the Gigabyte B850 Gaming X Wi-Fi for about $170, also with great VRMs, along with 3 M.2 NVMe SSD slots, all of which have heat spreaders, 6 high-speed USB ports, and 2 USB 2.0 ports, nice styling, and a built-in rear I/O shield with Wi-Fi 6E. There's also the Asus B650E Max Gaming Wi-Fi for between $149 and $169. It offers slightly weaker but still fine VRMs, 2 full bandwidth M.2 SSD slots, 1 half bandwidth M.2 slot, along with 6 high-speed USB ports and a Type-C, and 2 USB 2.0 ports. And it comes with silver heat sinks on either a white or black PCB motherboard. And it's the cheapest all-white motherboard out there. Moving up to premium motherboards, we're looking for 3 full bandwidth M.2 drives with at least 2 having heat sinks, a built-in rear I/O plate with good USB connectivity, upgraded audio codec to ALC 1200, 1220, or 4080, and strong VRMs. And obviously, we want it to look amazing. Pricing is really volatile in this area of the market, and sometimes an X870 or higher end motherboard will go on sale, but generally my top picks, they start around $185 US with the ASRock B850 Live Mixer, which we used in our build, and ASRock did send over to us, so thank you to ASRock. It features 3 M.2 NVMe SSD slots with 3 having heat spreaders, ALC 1220 audio, 6 high-speed USB ports with a Type-C, and 8 more USB 2.0 ports. Just tons of connectivity. It also has rock-solid VRMs and great styling. There's also the ASRock B850 PG Riptide, just a slightly different feature set in a more gamery look, and the B850 Steel Legend in all white. The Asus TUF B650E- is a great pick, and it essentially is an upgraded version of their excellent B650 motherboard with a PCIe Gen 5 GPU slot, 3 full bandwidth M.2 NVMe SSD slots with heat spreaders, 4 high-speed USB ports including a Type-C, and 4 USB 2.0 ports, along with Wi-Fi 6E. It also uses the same styling as the B850 TUF, which I personally think is the best looking B850 motherboard out there. Now the B850 TUF version, it ups the speed of the 4 USB 2.0 ports, so they're all fast, and it adds Wi-Fi 7. It often only sells for a little bit more, so I'd consider that as well, but I would definitely avoid the TUF-E version, which is a massively cut down motherboard that sells for the same price and looks the same, but it's actually mid-range at best. If you want an MSI motherboard, I do like the B850 Tomahawk as well, with 3 M.2 SSD slots, all with heat spreaders, 6 high-speed USB ports with 3 Type-Cs, along with 4 2.0 ports. Nice black styling with green logo highlights, and Wi-Fi 7 for about $220. So what's the best CPU cooler for the Ryzen 7800X3D? Now we want to enable Precision Boost Overdrive. That is AMD's one-click auto overclocking feature in the BIOS to get the best performance. And for that, we're going to need at least a dual tower air cooler or a 240mm AIO cooler. Now for value-focused builds, great air coolers, they're available in either black or white, and they start at just $29, with the id Cooling A620 Pro SE or the RGB version for about $10 more, the Thermalright Phantom Spirit or Peerless Assassin, which also comes in white and has a new digital version with CPU and GPU temperature readouts for about $45, or the Cooler Master Hyper 620S, or the really striking Hyper 622 Halo for $60 in white or black. If you want to take the build aesthetics to the next level, just about any 240mm all-in-one liquid cooler, it's sufficient, and while 360mm coolers they're a bit overkill, they look and perform amazing. Coolers that I recommend include the budget Thermalright Aqua Elite V3 Liquid AIO cooler, it's about $60, the $70 id Cooling FX Infinity Mirror in white that we used in our build, the Cooler Master Master Liquid 360L for about the same price. If you want higher cooling performance, check out either the Montech Hyperflow 360 or the Arctic Liquid Freezer 3 brand new Pro version, and both of those cost right around $100 in black or white. So what's the best SSD for the Ryzen 7800X3D? If you haven't had a chance to watch our best SSD for gaming 2025 video, it is linked down in the video description under our How to Build a PC playlist, and you can do that for a deeper dive. But basically, there is no current gaming benefit from using anything faster than even a SATA SSD. But of course, Gen 3 and Gen 4 NVMe SSDs, they're just as cheap, they're faster for other workloads, and they're super easy to install with no cables. And Gen 5 NVMe SSDs, they continue to be massively overpriced, and they are a total waste of your money. For budget-focused builds, the Silicon Power UD90, the Team Group G50, or Western Digital SN5000, those are great drives that we've recommended in the past. For more premium builds, looking to add a DRAM cache to make the SSD a little snappier when doing things like file copies and game installs, consider grabbing a drive like the Clevcraft C930 that we used in our build, the Team Group G70 Pro, or the Acer Predator GM7000. Right now, 2TB drives, they are the best price per terabyte, following closely by 4TB models for those looking for more storage. And this is not 2015 anymore. You don't need separate drives for your operating system and storage. A single large capacity drive is fine, and it's going to save you money. I'll leave several SSDs linked down in the video description. For the PC case, what we want here is good airflow. Now, since we are likely using a higher end GPU, we're likely looking to step up from the most basic budget PC cases, or you could add some additional fans to them. Now, some good budget micro ATX options include the Okonos Mirage 4, which uses a bottom intake setup, or the Thermaltake View TG170, and both of these would go great with a top-mounted 240mm all-in-one liquid cooler, or adding top fans for additional airflow. For ATX-sized PC cases, my favorite Atrium-style case is the Montech XR for around $70, with side intake fans and one rear exhaust fan. But I know it's been super hard to find in stock in 2025, so there are a number of very similar PC cases like the Thermaltake View 270 that are just fine to go with. For traditional front intake PC cases, I like the mATX XR wood with 4 included ARGB fans for about $70, or you can step up to the Corsair 4000D RS frame version. It's a much improved case over the previous 4000D Airflow version. And it now comes with 3 included ARGB fans with standard connectors, though I would add in a rear exhaust fan. We went with the Okonos Aqua 7 ATX size PC case in white for about $90, with 6 included ARGB fans, where the bottom and side fans are reverse blade intake. Now check out the links in the video description and our best PC case 2025 guide for more options. All right, what about the power supply, or PSU for short? Now, if you have not seen our how to buy a PSU 2025 buying guide, we cover how to size and buy the best unit for your build based on unit quality, not the nonsensical 80+ rating. I will leave that link below. Basically, I take the rated power draw and PC part picker of all the components and I multiply it by 1.5 to get the minimum wattage. For a build like this, given the high-end GPUs that we're considering for it, I would recommend getting at least a B tier or better PSU as rated on the new SPL PSU tier list. If you're using an NVIDIA GPU with the 12-volt high power connector, I'd recommend getting at least an ATX 3.0 PSU or 3.1 if you can. Try not to bend the connector in a way that puts stress on the connection point itself, though this can be a challenge much of the time. We went with the ASUS Prime 850 watt B+ rated unit that ASUS sent over, which includes a 12-volt high power connector, so big thank you to ASUS for that. So I put together 2 build templates to get you started. The first, it's a mid-range value-focused build that uses the Ryzen 7800X3D at its current $340 price, with a mid-range air cooler, a mid-range ATX size motherboard, DDR5 6000CL30 non-RGB RAM, a 2TB budget NVMe SSD, the mATX XR wood front intake PC case, and a B tier rated 850 watt PSU on the SPL PSU tier list. Without the GPU included, the build cost is just above $900 US. For a more premium build like this one here, we went with a 360mm AIO cooler. We upgraded the motherboard to a more premium B850 model for $220. We went with RGB on the RAM at DDR5 6000CL28. We upgraded the NVMe SSD to one with DRAM at Gen 4 speed. We went with the Antec C5 Premium PC case and a 1000 watt A tier rated PSU, all for just about $1,100 before the cost of the GPU. Of course, you can spend more with additional M.2 storage, even more premium motherboards and PC cases, and of course higher wattage PSUs, but these templates should get you started. And I'm gonna leave both of them linked down in the video description for you to check out, along with some alternative parts. So let me know down in the comments, what kind of 7800X3D build are you considering? Of course, remember to check out everything linked down in the video description for current pricing and availability, and if new motherboards or pricing changes, we will of course change our recommendations down there. Of course, we also have our how to build a PC playlist link down there, including our guide on how to actually build the PC and set it up after your build. And if you got value out of this video, please give it a like. It makes a huge difference to the channel. And of course, subscribe for more cool PC content. And we will catch you on the next one.